It's time for another Dice Tower review with Zee Garcia.
Hey folks, today I'm taking a look at a two-player card game called And Then We Held Hands. This is a game with a quirky little theme in which, here, let me read you this from the rules here, the goal. It's a non-verbal cooperative game about two people and their failing relationship. The two players must cooperate in order to achieve emotional balance within and between them. So, having said all that, the theme is ultimately pretty thin, and it's sort of like this little puzzle game in which you are playing cards and trying to push through emotional issues or emotions themselves and trying to cooperatively win with your partner. Let me give you an overview of how the game works, then I'll tell you what I thought of it. Here we go. So here's what the game looks like, all set up and ready to go. The objective is to get through all of these cards here. There's 8 in this pile, then through another 8, then through a final batch of 8, and both end up in the center of this big circle here with our balance, which is this little scale here, centered as well. And if we can manage that, then the players will win the game, okay? So let's say it is blue's turn first. We each have our player cards here, all splayed in one direction. Each card has 2 sides, as you can see here. So this card, Resigned, is both black and blue, but depending on which way they are spread, you just get half of the card, okay? So I'm going to flip over one of these, and this card is going to tell me what I am going for. In this case, it says happy down here, has a little green circle at the top. That's what I'm going for. On my turn, I can play as many cards as I want to from my hand or my partner's hand. And so I am trying to, if at the end of my turn here, I end on the matching symbol, then I have achieved that emotion, and I have finished this card, at which point on my partner's turn, they will flip a new one and try to complete that one, okay? So, let's see. I am going to be doing this, by the way, for the first 8 cards. On the outer ring, alone, we do not move into the inner, middle ring and inner ring until we go to the second and third pile of cards, respectively. Okay? So, green is what I'm hoping for here. I am going to play red. Again, red here, and this goes to my own discard pile. Each player has their own respective discard pile. I move to red, and then I adjust my balance here. As you can see, black and red will move me this way on the scale, and blue and green will move me the other way on the scale. So I'll take this over once, and then I am going to play green. And I am going to move in here. I am going to take this back towards the green side. And I have completed this card. I ended up on green. There you go. This is moved off. And now I check before my turn is over. If I am balanced in my emotions, then I will draw back up to 6 cards. Okay? So 1 and 2. There's one more thing I need to check for here, which is which way my cards are splashed, okay? If I ended up on this side of this circle here, then I'm using that side of the card, which I am. But if I had moved this way and ended up over here, then I would need to gather all of these up, spin this top card, which just indicates which side is active, and then splay them out the other way. So I'm using the other half of the card, okay? So, simple enough, but I did not do that. I ended up over here, and so I am going to keep my cards the way they were facing. If you end up, by the way, in the center line, the very center, you can pick which way you spread the cards. Now it is my partner's turn, and they are going to flip a card if there is not one here. Oh, look at that. It's happy as well. They are going to play, say, this card, which goes to their own discard pile. They'll move once, they'll adjust the scale. They've done it, but they do not replenish up to 6 because they have not achieved balance, okay? So it comes back to me. This continues. I will flip a card. I will see what I can do. Sometimes you get so low here that you don't really care about achieving this card. You just want to be balanced so you can draw back up. You have to be careful for that. We'll continue doing this until we go through all of these. Once these are all gone, and we've completed all of them, then the player who has the largest discard pile is going to shuffle all those cards into the player deck here. We are going to take another set of 8 cards, lay them out, and start working on those. And now we have mobility on the outer and this middle ring. And every one of these cards has to be completed on this middle ring. That continues. We will hit the end of those 8 cards. We'll again shuffle the bigger discard pile into the deck, play through another 8, which must be completed in the inner ring here. And once those 8 are done, then both players must end up in the center with perfect balance, and then you win the game. That's pretty much it. There's a slight variant, which is some of these cards have these gray bars on the side. And the way that works is both players must complete that card basically together. It represents like an argument or something like that. And so let's say I've done it on my turn and I've ended here. Then my partner must, on their turn, land on the same spot I'm on. And now it's completed. So just me doing it did not complete it. Both players being there completes it, okay? Normally, without that rule, which is a way to, to make the game a little bit harder, normally you do not enter each other's space. You cannot cross over each other's space, all right? That's pretty much the game. You play through all those 3 rounds. You make sure that you, on your turn, can play. If you cannot play, cannot move, you lose the game. So let's say I'm here. I don't have blue or black or green, and neither does my partner. I've lost the game. Be careful for that. And you can never play if you would take this scale outside of the +2 or the -2. But if you're able to avoid all those pitfalls, complete all 3 rounds, then together you win the game. And Then We Held Hands is a game that certainly right away gets points for originality, both in the theme and in the way the game works. It's a neat game. It's something that, combined with this theme, it's definitely, both those mechanisms and this theme together, its own beast, and I appreciate that. The gameplay itself, I enjoy it. I'm a big fan of little card games that are puzzly, so I'm thinking like Onirim is a game I would compare to this one. Now, Onirim is one of my favorite games ever, okay? This is not that good, but it was surprisingly good. I really had a nice time with this. It's puzzly, it's simple but rich. It makes you pause and take stock of the state of the board. It makes you be careful with managing your very limited resources, and by that I mean your cards, your emotional balance there. And so I was pleasantly surprised with this one. I like it. And Then We Held Hands. While it might be a bit of a tough sell to some people, and it's certainly not going to help you fix your relationship or anything like that, is a nice idea. It's a beautifully illustrated game that works well. It's a little fiddly with the displaying of the cards this way or that. I'm not sure I'm huge on that idea, but everything else I really liked. I thought it was a fun, quick, pretty game that works well, has different levels of challenge that you can throw in there if you want to make the game more challenging for yourself. And it's well balanced. It's nicely tuned. When I play, the tension has a nice ramp up to it. So thumbs up from me on this one. And Then We Held Hands is a nice little card game. If you enjoy that style of card game, like Onirim, like the other games in that line of games from Z-Man Games, then check this one out. I think you'll enjoy it if you like that style. Puzzly little card games that are very simple. And Then We Held Hands, thumbs up from me.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.